Now turn to Section 1 to begin the test. Listening Section 1. In a moment, you are going to hear a conversation between Claudia and Toshio, who are two overseas students in Australia. They are discussing plans to take a holiday after their studies finish. Before you listen, look at questions 1 to 7. Note the examples that have been done for you. As you listen to the first part of the conversation, answer questions 1 to 7.
Well, Claudia, our first semester at university is almost over. I can't wait for the holidays.
Me too, Toshio. Why don't we go away somewhere far away and forget about lectures and essays and all that hard work?
Sounds good to me. Now, how long will we have before we have to be back here on campus for the next semester?
We've got about 6 weeks, I think.
How about if we go to the coast? It would be great to do some swimming and surfing.
The coast would be good. But let's look at our other options. There's the mountains. They're nice and cool at this time of year. And we can do some bushwalking. There's also the desert, which I really enjoyed last year.
What about going to Sydney? I've never been there, and they say it's a great city to visit. Lots of things to do there, I've heard.
I agree. Sydney would be good. But there are too many tourists there at this time of year. And I'd rather get away from buildings and cars. There are enough of those around here. I vote for the mountains.
All right then, let's do that. Now we have to decide where we're going to stay and how we're going to get there. Any suggestions?
Well, for places to stay, there are the usual places, motels, hotels, youth hostels. We could go camping too.
I'm afraid I'm not a very good camper, Claudia. I tend to feel a bit frightened sleeping outdoors. And the hassle of building fires and all the insects and...
All right, we'll forget about camping. Although I must admit, it would have been my first choice. So, what should we do?
Well, since neither of us has a lot of money, I don't think a hotel or motel would be possible. How about a youth hostel?
I'd rather not go to a youth hostel, Toshio. They're certainly cheap, but you never get to be alone in those places. There's always a stranger in the next bed, and I hate sharing kitchens with people I don't know. No, I think we should find a small holiday house to rent, and if we get a few more friends to join us, it'll be really cheap.
I think your idea's spot on, but who should we ask along? How about Peter? Do you think he'd want to join us?
I was just talking to him this morning, and he said he was flying home to Hong Kong for a visit.
Oh, well, what about Maria and her boyfriend, Georg? Oh, and David Wong might be interested, and his brother Walter is studying here too. We can ask him.
Hang on, not so fast, please. I'm writing a list of people to ring. Let me think. We could ask Jennifer too. I don't think she has any plans. And Michael Sullivan, perhaps too. I think I'll just ring them all now.
After ringing their friends, Claudia returns to speak to Toshio.
Well, I've talked to everyone we thought of. A few of them are quite keen, actually.
Tell me, what did they say?
Well, Jennifer can't make it. She's already booked a flight to Queensland. She says she's going to meet her boyfriend up there. I also talked to David Wong. He says he'll come. He says he's really looking forward to getting off campus too.
What about his brother, Walter?
His brother's going overseas. In fact, he's not even coming back next term. It seems he's transferred to a university in Canada. I then called Maria's house. Her boyfriend Georg answered. I told him our plans and he asked Maria. They both want to join us.
Good. They'll be fun to be with. Now, what about Michael Sullivan? Did you talk to him?
Yes, but he said he'd rather spend his holiday at home. He's not interested in going anywhere. Can you imagine?
Later, Toshio and Claudia are talking while Toshio fills out a holiday house rental form. Now look at questions 8 to 11. As the conversation continues, answer questions 8 to 11.
The form asks for home addresses. I've put mine, 52 Miller Street. But let me see if I've got yours right. It's 614 Valentine Street, isn't it?
You've got the street number right, but not the street name. It's 614 Ballantyne Street. That's Ballantyne.
Okay. We're paying by credit card. Is that all right?
That's fine.
Have you got a Visa card or a MasterCard? And I need to know the number, of course.
Sure, it's 77432129. But it's not a Visa or MasterCard. It's an American Express card.
So let me just repeat that. It's 77432129. American Express, right?
That's right.
One more thing we have to write down. That's the deposit we're paying to reserve the holiday house. It says it should be at least 10% of the rental cost.
Let's just figure that out now. We're paying $350 a week, right?
Right. And we're planning to stay there for 5 weeks. So the deposit's, shall we say $225?
No, that can't be right. I'd say it's less than that. In fact, about $50 less than that. It should be $175.
I guess you're right. Okay, that's what I'll put down.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Listening section 2. In a moment, you are going to hear an orientation talk given to new overseas students at Maslow University. The talk is being given by Ms. Jennifer Davis. Before you listen, look at questions 12 to 14. As you listen to the first part of the talk, answer questions 12 to 14.
Hello, my name's Jennifer Davis. I'm the Student Affairs Officer here at Maslow University, and I'd first of all like to welcome you all to this orientation talk. I'll be talking to you about the campus and a little of its history, and then I'll be introducing you to some of the facilities available to all Maslow University students, and in particular, overseas students. First, let me just point out to you 2 people who you'll definitely need to know. They are Bruce Chandler, who is the coordinator of the Overseas Student Office. Actually, you can see Bruce in that group of people over there. Bruce is the short man with the beard and glasses. Hi, Bruce. Bruce will be speaking to you later. The other person you'll be meeting is Donna Wilcox. Now, Donna's in charge of the Student Union Activities Office. In fact, Donna's just over there too. She's the one with the white top and dark skirt. Hi there, Donna. She'll be speaking to you today later too. Now, I want to congratulate you all for getting to this talk on time. I say this because I know the campus can be a bit confusing for people when they first get here. In fact, I'd just like to spend a few minutes pointing out some of the landmarks that can be seen from here. Let's see. If you look just behind me, you'll see a large 4-story brick building. That's the Borland Library, named after Harold Borland, who was the first Chancellor of Maslow University. Just ahead of me are 2 buildings that look like identical twins. In fact, they serve very different purposes. One of them is the University Language Centre. That's the one on my right. The other one, the one on my left, is the Aeronautics Building. Now, to the east of us, you'll see no building at all, just trees and flowers and a huge grassy area. That's the Maslow Gardens, which were part of the original design of the campus. And finally, to the west of where I'm standing, we can see the largest building on campus, 17 stories of steel and glass construction. I'll give you one guess what that is. That's right, it's the University Administration Building.
Now look at questions 15 to 21. As the talk continues, answer questions 15 to 21.
Obviously, the buildings we can see from here aren't the only ones on campus. In fact, there are a total of 70 buildings of various sizes and purposes scattered over some 13 hectares of land. Later, I'll be giving out maps to you and will also be giving you a tour after lunch. Next, let me give you a little history about Maslow University. The university was not originally a university at all. John Herbert Maslow came to this country from Scotland in 1822 at the age of 33. He had trained and worked as a maths teacher before immigrating, and when he got here, he found that there were lots of people wanting education, but not nearly enough people to teach them. So he set up a teachers' college on this very site in 1825. The students of the college spent an average of 2 years here before they went out to find work in primary schools and high schools being set up around the state. Around 3,200 students graduated from Maslow Teachers College in its first 10 years of operation. And I should mention that though John Maslow set up the college, it was always strictly a public institution, always the property of the state government. Now, even though John Maslow died in 1848, the Teachers' College continued to run in much the same way until 1868. Around that time, the state government had plans to establish 2 new universities. In 1866, Riversdale University was established on a site about 11 kilometres northwest of the city centre. The government wanted the second university to be a bit closer to town, so they chose to convert Maslow Teachers College into Maslow University. That happened 2 years after they opened Riversdale University. As you know, Maslow is southeast of the city centre, but it's only 1.5 kilometres away. You may be interested to know that there's always been an intense rivalry between Maslow University and Riversdale University. They're always trying to outdo each other academically and also, importantly, in sport. Now, with sport, it all depends on what game we're talking about. I don't think anyone in either university would argue that Maslow has the better basketball team and the better soccer team. In fact, Maslow has beaten Riversdale in both sports for about 10 years running. But Riversdale University has its strengths too. Riversdale's football team has always defeated Maslow's, and in women's swimming too. Though not in men's swimming, Riversdale tends to come out on top. When it comes to baseball, well,